At last night's CNBC debate, we had some actual accurate criticism of the various Republican candidates' tax plans. But it's very easy to get caught up in a big pile of numbers and stats and claims, so let's simplify it a little bit. Here is estimates of how much each of the candidates' tax plans would cost, and bear in mind when you see these that these were generated by the Tax Foundation, which is a conservative organization. So we're using their numbers to give them the best shot at not horrifying everyone that casts their eyes on them. So here is a chart breaking down that Donald Trump's would cost $10 trillion, which is lower than some of the other estimates I've seen. Bobby Jindal would cost $9 trillion with his new tax plan. Rick Santorum's, look, only $1.1 trillion. Jeb Bush, $1.6 trillion. Marco Rubio, $1 trillion. It's not a number you get to say that often in quick succession, so thank you to the Republican Party for putting together your tax plans. Now, there's only one candidate running for the GOP nomination for the presidency who does not cost something. It actually makes us money according to a conservative foundation's logic. The Tax Foundation says that Paul's plan, Rand Paul, would save the government $737 billion. However, Citizens for Tax Justice, which is also a conservative organization, estimates that Paul's plan would cost $15 trillion. Now, the Tax Foundation assumes that tax cuts benefiting Wall Street and the wealthy will generate very high levels of growth. Citizens for Tax Justice does not. Now, bear in mind, the one there that assumes that these tax cuts are going to be really good for the economy, get it going, get it moving, they're the ones who said that Donald Trump's would cost $10 trillion, Bobby Jindal's $9 trillion. So they're using conservative preconceptions and assumptions about what tax cuts for the wealthy and for Wall Street and for corporations would do to the economy, and then they factor that in. So it would actually cost more than this. Only if their assumptions are right would it just cost trillions of dollars. And even then, huge expense. Now, to put this in perspective, the total debt held by the public is currently $13.08 trillion, which means that some of the Republican tax plans would more than double all of the publicly held debt. And this is from the party of fiscal responsibility. So when we were talking before about the assumptions about Wall Street and growth, that means that they're using something called dynamic scoring, where they're not simply looking at the numbers coming in and the numbers going out. They then get to play tricky-pizzicky moves about what effect it's going to have long-term in job growth and stimulating the economy. As if we haven't actually tested this before. As if it's a new, novel idea. If we give a lot of money to the wealthy, perhaps it'll stimulate the economy. Except that you've been paying attention. We've actually done this a number of times under Reagan, under HW to a limited extent, and then massively under George W. Bush. And what happened 6 to 9 years after those tax cuts? Yes, the economy cratered, it plummeted, destroyed wealth across most Americans, put many people out of their homes. But that's the assumptions that they have, that it'll actually be good. Maybe the 5th or 6th time is the charm. I don't know. But anyway, you're going to hear during the rest of this campaign a lot about fiscal discipline, fiscal responsibility, fiscal conservatism. When you hear those things, it is absolutely crucial that you remember the numbers that you were shown here today. And that's my final judgment.